This is a request to authorize the executive director to execute a purchase agreement with Alexis Art Productions LLC for custom artwork in the GAT. The renovated GAT will include two areas, one in the lobby and one in the reception area on the second floor for exhibits of artwork. So to that end, we issued a RFP on September 24th, encouraging applications from artists who work with colorful imagery and whose work can demonstrate a unified aesthetic with the coastal modern theme of the airport. The RFP was issued online and also through the Naples Art Association, and one proposal was received by the deadline of October 8th from Alexis Art Productions. And Alexis is here this morning. She's an artist based in Naples who specializes in some incredibly unique coastal aerial resin art. And she is here to provide an overview and a presentation and can respond to any questions as well. So we'll give her just another couple of seconds here to get set up. Yep. And you just want to tell us when to advance. I think David may be able to.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me today. I'm Alexis Martinez-Paleo. I'm a resin artist, as he described, here in Naples, Florida. I've been doing it for about 12 years. If you're not familiar with what epoxy resin is, I have some samples down here. If you've ever been on a surfboard or had maybe eaten at a bar top at a restaurant, it's that clear protective layer that you see on the finishing. And instead of using it just clear, I add my acrylic paints to the epoxy resin, and then I pour it onto my wood panels. And then to move it around and give the wave-like look, I use a blowtorch. And so it's a 42-step process, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, who gets to say that they can use a blowtorch for most of their job during the day? But there's a few different styles that I work in. There is.
Yeah, just stay in the microphone.
Oh, I apologize. So sorry. There is abstract. And then you can see here that there is a flat, soft ocean look. And then there's two examples here on the end where I incorporate hand sculpted rocks and 3D texture to the landscape and to the sand. You can click through. They have some samples there, the aerial ocean and the 3D aerial ocean. So you can see that there was some sand and some texture on the bottom. Okay, Justin? So the Naples Airport Authority is seeking custom art in a coastal modern theme, which I think that this embodies. You can keep going, Justin. For the main lobby, I put up some samples here where you can see some different types of color variation that will work. When you walk into the main lobby, to the left, you have this beautiful, it's going to be a glass mosaic that looks like a waterfall going down and a live green wall. And then the art will be on the opposite wall right in front of that. This art piece, the Naples Airport Authority is looking to be 10 feet long to maybe 11.5 feet long, all the way up to 5 foot, 8 inches tall. Another look that I'm proposing is instead of such a long board, you can cut it into two paintings that when they're put together, they look like one scene. So you see the first one looks like there's a sandbar in the middle, and then the other one is like a coastline split into two. When you go up to the second floor reception, you're greeted by a beautiful desk, and it has this sea glass wall right behind it. And I believe the carpet is a little different now, but it is like a ocean theme carpet. It's dark blue to the aquas. So I don't want the art to take away from the design of the room, but I want it to complement it. So here I showed some subtle colors. The paintings could look like the sandbar in the middle, or if you're looking at one coastline, again, split into two. Alternatively, a little variation to the blues in the water would add some depth to the artwork, as well as adding some 3D texture. I know that the wall that's going to be opposite of this is going to have a live green wall as well. So I proposed maybe adding a little bit of the greenery to the artwork could tie the whole concept together, make the whole room feel complete. My price breakdown here is based on style and square inch. So this allows the authority to still pick something that fits with their vision, but their budget as well. So the abstracts start at $2.75 a square inch. The flat resin oceans are $3.75 a square inch. And then the more intricate ones are $4.30 a square inch. I've broken it down here. Since they had proposed something that was 10 feet to 11 and a half feet long for the main lobby, I broke it down, the first two, into both sizes so that you could price compare. And then you see it's abstracts, resin oceans, and the 3D landscape. And then for the second floor, that is price each because there's going to be two of them. So that would be times two. And then for the main floor, for the main lobby, I'm also proposing an alternate size because I work on wood. Can't leave the foot. If you were to turn these around, you see that each one of these is made on a wood board. But for something so large, you would need to seam wood pieces together to get that long size. But if you were to go 8 inches shorter on the height, you could do a 5-foot high board by 10 or 11 and a half foot long and use one seamless piece of wood. And there would be no seams, no extra nails, no extra glue. And that's my recommendation. If you look, it also shaves off a little on the price so that you could use it elsewhere in your budget. And that's it. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Commissioners? Mr. Reinhardt.
What wood do you use for this background?
So normally it's birch wood, but for the long wood, it would be an MDF board.
Would be.
It would be, yes. And it would be sealed front and back.
Okay. MDF, because sometimes if it gets wet, it sort of expands.
Exactly. So it would be sealed front and back with something called GAC 100, and I use it with all my boards.
Right.
But it's almost like an Elmer's glue when it's finished. It's clear, but it's so that water and moisture can't penetrate it. And then the back of the boards also have braces going across it to give that extra support and stability so that it won't twist and warp.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions, thoughts?
No.
Vice Chair, I had one
Yes.
addition.
Mr. Roseanne?
Alexis, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a bit about where your art, who you've been commissioned by and where it's on display.
Sure. If you look in that little pamphlet that I passed out, you'll see some large scale artwork. A few years back, I was commissioned by the Lakeland Regional Medical Center in Lakeland, Florida. I was actually born in that hospital, and they expanded to add a women's and children's center. And I was commissioned to do 4 large paintings in sequence that are similar in size to this. They were 4 foot 6 inch tall by 10 foot long. So that is on display at Lakeland Regional Medical Center right when you first walk into their building. I have my artwork at the Ritz-Carlton in their gallery and throughout their shops right here on the beach in Naples, Florida, as well as a gallery on 5th Avenue, the Idell Fine Arts Gallery. Another location is Kieran Gill. She's a plastic surgeon in town, and she outfitted her office with 8 large paintings. So throughout Naples and residential.
Commissioner Messner?
Alexis, I'm just curious, where did you get your training, or are you self-taught? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am actually a biology and chemistry major from Florida Gulf Coast University. So totally different. I did art my whole life, and just when I graduated, I think I was just so burnt out from the structure and the rigidity of college that I just wanted to get back to my art again. And I fell in love all over and just went with it. So it's not biology degree, but it is a little bit of chemistry because the resin does do a thermochemical reaction, and the way that the 2 colors or all the colors interact with each other. I sit there and I babysit it to make sure it's doing just right. I wear a gas mask. It's a fun little project every day.
Very interesting. Congratulations. It's great.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Or Director Rosansky, the artist recommends the single flat panel for the first floor. What are you thinking?
I believe she was recommending the two side-by-side pieces. Is that correct, Alexis?
Well, I was recommending that if you were to do one large piece, to cut it down to 5 foot instead of 5 foot 8 inches, so that it could be on one board. Now, the difference between having two panels or one panel is all your choice. I think they both give that wow factor to the space when you walk in. They're still going to be very large. They're still going to give you that, oh wow, what is this? How is it created? And you're welcome to touch the art. I can pass it around if I'm allowed to walk up there.
Well, and I think we're leaning towards the two pieces because there's a recess in the wall that more precisely fits that 5 foot 8 dimension. So it'll have a more finished look with two pieces rather than the slightly smaller single piece.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful to clarify that. Mr. Lenhart, excuse me.
It's okay. Do you have an interior designer you're working with on all this stuff too?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I
It's
assumed
not
you
me.
did.
It's not me if it
No.
gives you any comfort.
I was worried.
May I say something?
Sure.
I think that the two pieces are also a great idea because if you were to ever move the art or transfer to a different building, the art can either go together or you can put them on two separate walls, whereas the one large painting, you're fixed to one large wall in another room.
That's an interesting comment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments, commissioners? If
facilities. And it's a general aviation terminal improvement project update. As I said before, at the May 20th, 2021 board meeting, the board authorized a contract with OAK, $7,681,097, inclusive of the contingency. An updated schedule was presented to the board on October 13th with the anticipated completion date, temporary certificate of occupancy of November 12th. Work remaining is flooring, cabinets, doors and accessories, final painting, exterior paving, landscaping, and currently the staff is anticipating a November 16th move-in date for the FBO. And due to furniture deliveries for the second floor, that won't be until sometime in early December. If, in spite of what I said before, if you do want to drop by, you can walk through. There's a lot of things in progress right now, but you can start to see what the overall final appearance is going to look like. I think probably the most impressive thing is the terrazzo floors. They haven't been polished, but they haven't had the final coat on them, but they are sanded and down to the final finish that looks just like in the pictures that we see. So it's going to be impressive, I think. And it also, an added advantage is it's a wonderful surface for maintenance. It's a mop and go. So you won't be dealing with the grout lines and the textures we had on the other tile floors.
Mr. Keith, can I interrupt you for a question from Mr. Leonard?
No, so the terrazzo floors are new. This is not what was existing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, that's, wow.
Yeah, it has the flower pattern in it. And
Okay, okay,
there's some areas that kind of
gotcha.
lead
All right.
you to walk certain ways that
Mhm.
it'll look good.
They're back in style.
There have been, again, a lot of this is a repeat of what I said earlier. There have been supply chain issues. The wave canopies will not be complete on our move-in. We're going to have to work with the contractor on scheduling the completion of those probably sometime in December. That's a steel issue that everybody's having the same problem. I talked to Maresh about his hangar that he's building in Marco Island, at Marco Island Airport. He had the same problem there with steel issues. So it's just what we're dealing with this time. Yes, sir.
Does that affect the canopy going between the AOB and the GAT?
The high portion of that canopy is affected also.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, the wave canopy and the high portion between the AOB and the GA
All right.
are all steel. The aluminum canopies, which are the walkways,
Mhm.
and the walkway in front of the AOB are in process, almost complete.
Okay.
They'll be in place.
Ms. Messer?
They're currently starting on landscaping. When trees went in on the back of the GA yesterday, the front pavers, patio areas are all starting this week. So lots going to happen in the next 2-3
Yeah.
weeks.
Ms. Messer?
This is just a little offside comment, but I'm remembering stress fractures from terrazzo floors from customer service agents.